Hello, welcome back to WinWorld. Today, we will go through all the settings of our WorldClass SMC indicator in detail. We have intentionally reduced the number of settings to a minimum to simplify the use of our indicator for you. Too many settings will only confuse you instead of providing with more opportunities. WorldClass SMC Indicator is a perfect tool that draws market structure, not a complicated 3D modeling software with billion parameters to choose. Would you agree that it's better to spend time studying the trading strategy nuances than to deal with million indicators checkboxes? Links to the tutorials are in description to this video. Our indicator is specifically developed for this strategy. That is why clear understanding of the market structure is necessary to use it with ultimate efficiency. So, when you have mastered the strategy, we can get started. First checkbox is Extended Structure. When the box is ticked, the indicator draws the structure from the very beginning of all available history on the chart. The slider, as you can see, is at the first candle of the available history. When the box is unticked, you can start drawing the structure from any place on the chart. Look down. Crosshair shows date and time in the bottom. Select any date and time and enter values. The slider appears in the selected area, so you can move it manually to the desired candle. Now let's see how we can find entry points on a lower time frame using this feature of our tool. First, we need the price to reach our valid point of interest, this order block. It's there, and we see the sweep of the block, which took all the liquidity of equal highs here. This is a very strong signal. Now we switch to a lower time frame. Here we need to see a change of character, which is now the first valid pullback here. Now we are ready to set our tool up to display the internal structure of the lower time frame. Entering date, October 2nd. Time 10 o'clock. Untick the box and move the slider to the structure high on this time frame. We've got the inducement and an order block above. Basically, we can already place orders to this point of interest. Entry on the block, stop loss above the block. We recommend place take profit on the first liquidity of a higher time frame. In this case, it overlaps the break of structure point. Here it is. So, we are in position now. Oh, it's a pleasure to watch the price moving in the direction we want it to go. But everything ends somewhere. We've got the take profit. Congrats! Now you know an easy way to trade with our tool. But it is not so useful when you don't know the strategy, so we insist you to master it. Okay, let's move on. Build order blocks only by sweeps. Here we can see a bullish structure, the inducement, and two valid order blocks. Let's figure out what is the difference between them. Lower one is built the following way. This candle sweeps the liquidity from the previous one and closes inside the previous candle. The next one creates a fair value gap which is not filled yet. The upper one is built a bit differently. This candle grabs liquidity from the previous one, but unlike the candle in the lower block, it closes lower but not inside or higher than the previous. This is the main difference. It's just 1 pip, but it matters. This candle doesn't have an imbalance after it. So, according to our rules, we move the block to the candle, which is followed by imbalance. Now let's tick the checkbox. The upper one disappeared. The lower one became the inducement order block. Anyway, only use what you trust, or use what works best for you. In any case, you are the one trading on your account, not me. Inducement, change of character conflict. When the price makes a break of structure with one leg, the inducement and the change of character may overlap. This example is a perfect demonstration of such a case. This blue point is now both, the change of character and the inducement point. Now price makes new inducement and it becomes a valid change of character. But the point doesn't change from blue to green because our tool never redraws the structure. We only see green change of character line there. And we have a break of structure with one leg, again. The price is coming to the point. We see it even closed above this sweep. But we always give priority to inducement in our strategy. So we believe that the structure doesn't change its direction. The trend divider doesn't change its color. And what do we see? Another break of structure in the downtrend, and it seems with one leg again. Well, that will do. I think you get the point. Alerts. This is an incredibly useful feature. Now you don't have to stare at the screen all day long. Choose which alerts you want to receive in TradingView. All? Okay, yes, we love alerts. Go to the Alerts tab, click Add Alert. In the Condition drop-down menu, put the name of the indicator and click Create. Please note that TradingView will send notifications only from the time frame you created the alert for. For another time frame, create another alert. If you have a basic subscription, you can set only one alert. Yes, TradingView developers work hard and want to get paid decently. They really deserve it. But don't be in a hurry to take out your money and give it to TradingView. Now we have a Telegram group where all alerts are available. Put an alert on the desired instrument and receive notifications on it. Color mode. Everything is simple here. There are two sets, structure-based, and the other is for ICT fans. The color changes for all objects of the structure. Here, for example, we can see all bullish structure objects are orange and all bearish structure objects are white. ICT fans can choose a monochrome set and the main color of the gamut. There you go. Beautiful, isn't it? Well, here you may enjoy playing with colors to pretend you are an artist. Sweeps. Here, we select the color for the dotted line which indicates break of structure sweep. Only break of structure sweep and not any other. Valid break of structure is displayed as a solid line with the color you specified in the previous settings. Here's a break of structure sweep with an X. Here's a break of structure. Inducement. Just choose a color to draw the inducement line. Any color you like. You can't change the dotted line. You just can't. You don't need to adjust this. Better go read the tutorials. We're not going to make an extra drop-down menu to choose solid or dashed line. Structure points transparency. Here, you can only change the structure points transparency. All other structure elements appear as they were set in color settings. Text size. Just choose one. Structure. We won't spend much time describing these checkboxes. They are clear enough. Choose structure elements to be shown and tick the checkbox. Show trend. Here everything is as simple as in the previous block. Just decide whether you prefer a chart painted from top to bottom or just a stripe with the structure color at the bottom. Or maybe you want both. Style. This panel is pretty self-explanatory. Try ticking checkboxes and see what changes on the chart. Okay, it seems we're done. Master our tool and enjoy your profits. And there are more videos to come soon to help you with the strategy and entries. Thank you, and see you soon in WinWorld.